Azula is one of my favorite characters in The Last Airbender. Ever since I watched Korra, I've always wondered what happened to her. In light of the new Airbender movie and the next show, let's trace Azula's timeline post Last Airbender to see what her fate could have possibly been. In the canon Avatar comics, in the search for their mom, Zuko releases Azula from the institution to help find Ursa, where unsurprisingly Azula eventually abandons the team. We don't see her until the Smoke and Shadow arc, where she gathers a gang of anti-Zuko individuals, disguises them as the spirits to scare the locals, and kidnaps a bunch of kids. Once they get exposed, Azula and her fire warriors escape into the wild, which leads us to her last official appearance so far on the entire Avatar timeline, Azula in the Spirit Temple. We follow Azula and her fire warriors sneak into a granary, where it just so happens Ty Lee is there visiting. They blow up the granary only to realize it was a trap all along. They're able to escape, but one of their own was captured. The fire warriors discuss rescuing the friend, but Azula refuses, and despite some pushback on this decision, Azula tells them that they're nothing without her. The fire warriors realize Azula doesn't care about them, but they do care about each other. So the next day, they abandon Azula to rescue their friend. Vengeful and angry, Azula wanders out to make them pay. In the rain, she finds a temple. Upon entering, she meets an old lady who says it's a place of rest for the weary. Those who need this place have no problem finding it. You look like you have been struggling with great troubles of late and are in need of help. Azula of course doesn't care. She then steals the old lady's bed and rests. She dreams of a perfect life and a happy family. But then Ty Lee and May appear to remind Azula that this is not real, which stresses Azula out and wakes her up, where the old lady panics and scrambles to get Azula to leave. Despite trying to leave, the mist magically brings Azula back to the temple, where she angrily storms back in and tries to figure out if this is some sort of trap. Then, a turtle duck appears, alongside Ursa. We are suddenly in a memory of when Azula first firebent. Ursa is terrified while Ozai is ecstatic. Ursa is proud while Ozai hypes her up. Wait, what? Azula is confused by the memory being altered. The old lady explains she just does that to make people who rest at the temple happy, to give them what they want. Azula tries to attack her. Azula rants about how Ozai has fallen and how she should be Fire Lord. Ty Lee then enters the temple and says hello to Azula. They fight despite Ty Lee's comment, as Azula rants about being abandoned. After a good suggestion, Azula knocks out Ty Lee and cuffs her. In this moment, as the spirit watches Azula closely, we see her in a sudden state of, look at this! Can you believe this is Azula? The spirit asks if Azula wants to kill Ty Lee, and Azula questions her, as Ursa appears again to comfort Azula, where she, for the first time, opens up and acknowledges Ozai's manipulation. Maybe there is hope. Ursa asks what Azula is. She tells her that she's alone and betrayed over and over by everyone, that everyone should have been loyal to her, yet they weren't, and blames Ursa for it. Ursa, or I guess the spirit, then concludes that what Azula wants is for those people to apologize for betraying her. Azula agrees, until Ty Lee joins the conversation. Sorry, May?
Only 32 subscribers. Meanwhile, all these AI generated channels have so much more to me. I'm on the toilet right now, so I have to flush. Please subscribe.
This proves it was just an illusion, so Azula angrily tries to leave, but the mist stops her. May tells her that she's a terrible person who gets what she deserves, as Azula replies, it's suddenly Ty Lee again. Azula is understandably frustrated. Ty Lee shares that they were never really friends. She was just forced to join Azula's hunt. Azula tells her that she gave her a real chance being important, yet she threw it away to be less than nothing. May appears again, and she points out that Azula tells everyone around her that they're nothing without her, that they can't survive without her. Azula says, well, they can't! May then transforms into Zuko. Azula is very clearly tired of the spirit's shenanigans. Zuko says that Azula surrounds herself with people to manipulate and harm because being alone would mean having to deal with all of the horrible things she's done, the way she's hurt people who cared. He says that Azula is alone, and the only person she can blame is herself, as he morphs into a monster. It's interesting that in this moment, Azula isn't saying anything. Instead, she attacks and screams, "No!" quote-unquote killing Zuko. Azula is completely fed up and threatens the spirit, but then she sees a terrifying giant monster as the facades of the spirit, even the old lady, all fade away. The spirit says, I should do a voice for this.
My manifestations did not lie. This is a sacred place of peace and rest, should you wish for those things. This temple is a crossroads for those who have followed the wrong path. It offers a second chance to choose for the better. You little Fire Lord will offer redemption and forgiveness, but you rejected what we had to give you. I take many forms, and it is your cruelty and desire for vengeance that has shaped me into this, a mirror of your own inner self, a monster.
Azula's unbothered and is determined to kill this spirit. As a lightning bolt hits the spirit, the temple fades away as Azula believes she's won. But as she walks away, we see the monster manifested from her inner self follow closely behind. At last, she finally finds the fire warriors who've successfully rescued their friend as they share a wholesome moment together. As Azula watches from above, alone. We end with this page. She lets them go, claiming that they're unworthy of her leadership, saying that she'll find new followers, a new place to rule, as she always does. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last we ever canonically see Azula. We don't know what happens to her, the fire warriors, or even the monster that follows her. Azula is never mentioned beyond this point, not even in the movie. And thanks to said movie, we know they've used these comics to lay the groundwork for the adventures where the entire team are now adults. And taking that into consideration, let's see if we can sniff out what exactly they're planning to do with Azula. Azula is someone that's been groomed by Ozai to be a monster, to the point where even when she recognizes Ozai's manipulation, you can see that this influence still remains. In this comic, she's practically been forced by the spirit to enter a redemption arc, yet she outright rejects it. We can see here that the monster that represents Azula's evil stalks her, which means we could see it again in the future. It's a hot topic whether or not Azula should get a redemption arc. For me, I'm okay with either. I can imagine an ending where this monster attacks Azula and in her refusal to change, ends up killing her. Or worse, dragging her into the spirit realm to be tortured. But personally, I think Azula deserves a bittersweet ending. Not a happy or a sad one. She's been manipulated by Ozai. It's not her fault she's the way she is, but she still willingly chooses to be evil and sadistic, so she shouldn't just be able to walk away without consequence. I've always pictured an ending like this. Since these characters are adults now, we could make Azula's story take a very brutal turn. When the monster continuously attacks her, she's thrown into a journey where she goes through so much genuine hell that she eventually accepts her circumstances. In doing so, the spirit transforms back and lets her go. I like to imagine her ending as an exile from all four nations. No one wants to take her in, but she accepts that. She's not depressed or angry. She understands that what she did was terrible now. She knows she has to suffer the consequences. I like to picture her living somewhere hidden in the Fire Nation, Zuko covering it up by maybe saying that she died, while Azula lives in a humble farm, occasionally being visited by Zuko or even someone from the gang, possibly. Since I'm very open to voice acting, she could even have a husband and kids. She's no longer filled with hate and anger, only peace and quiet. I personally believe that's a fitting end to a villain whose life was filled with so much loud noise. Yes, the four nations despise her, but Azula is past caring. The only thing she cares about is being able to live in peace now. And if they go the other route to her finding a spouse, I'm just saying, Avatar Studios, you wouldn't have to pay me the voice act. In fact, I'd actually pay. Okay, on the impossible chance someone from Avatar Studios sees this, hey, give me a shout out, man. Get Azula to kill a character named after me or something. Just in case. You never know, man. You never know who's watching. What am I saying? No one from there is gonna watch this. I'm sorry. And why would they listen to me? But anyway, sorry. Azula's fate is still left unknown, so I'll pass the question to you now. What do you think Azula's fate would be based on the seeds planted across these comics? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to support my small channel.